Howdy, y'all. Obviously, I'm Mrs. Snarky, and I'm glad that you've joined me for my live stream. Yay! It's been a long time.
And I'm a bag of peanuts.
You're crunchy?
Yes.
Salty and delicious?
I am.
Mmm. L'enfer, c'est les autres.
You've been saying this for...
Yes. Over and over again.
Over and over again before we started. It's been just lovely.
I was practicing. I learned a new phrase today. L'enfer, c'est les autres. And I was practicing.
Well, the people don't want to hear that. They want to hear epic titties. Epic titties.
Epic titties?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is that what we're here for?
We are here for epic titties.
Oh, yay, epic titties. Well, thank you for joining us again for this is part 7. And I'm here, of course, with just Maddie from Objectively Subjective. Show your channel.
My channel is Objectively Subjective. Everybody should come and sub to that channel because it's great.
It is great. I'm loving that channel. And by the way,
I used to be the Godless Iowan. I'm not anymore. So sub to my new channel.
Do you still like corn?
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm from Iowa.
I can move on with my life then, with the name change and all. But everybody, link in the description if you're not already subscribed to Objectively Subjective, which is really difficult to say, but it's a good channel.
It's not hard to say. Objectively Subjective. Objectively Subjective.
See, you better not walk while you're trying to say that because you'll definitely trip over your tongue.
Oh, you're so rude.
I know. I'm just snarky. I'm sorry. I did tell y'all. I mean, it's in my name.
Yes.
So, if you were struck down, we're at number 34. If you are struck by the appearance of any promised pleasure, guard yourself against being hurried away by it. But let the affair wait your leisure and procure yourself some delay. Then bring your mind both points of time, that in which you will enjoy the pleasure and that in which you will repent and reproach yourself after you've enjoyed it, and set before you in opposition to these how you will be glad and applaud yourself if you abstain. And even though it should appear to you to be a seasonable gratification, take heed that it's enticing and agreeable. An attractive force may not subdue you, but set in motion to this how much better it is to be conscious of having gained so great a victory.
All right. So to bring this to modern terms, I will give you a scenario. Have you ever went to a store and picked something up and carried it around with you and then put it back? That's basically what this is. It's take a little time to think. Is this actually something that you want to do? Is this actually something you want to buy? Because there is the instant gratification that you'll receive, but you might also have rent due.
Yeah.
And if you buy that nice thing, you're going to go, well, shit, I don't have money for rent now.
Yeah.
And it's going to bring you pain.
Yeah. In the long run, that little hit of dopamine that you get whenever you do something impulsive that makes you feel good in that moment, it's not really worth it if you can't pay your rent. You kind of need a house or at least somewhere to inhabit, keep yourself safe and warm. And so abstaining and taking time to really contemplate the consequences of your actions and whether or not you really need the thing that you're thinking about getting.
And contrary to Jen Morgan in the chat, this is not about edging. I mean, I guess you could kind of maybe say it's about, I guess you're delaying gratifications. Kind of. Sure, this is totally about edging.
You see, this is Tantra.
Yes.
I mean, it kind of is. I mean, that's part of the philosophy. It has been, Stoicism has been compared to a more Eastern kind of thought.
By people who are wrong.
Not necessarily. The Buddha taught how to be rid of suffering through following simple ethics. And that's the same thing.
Stoicism is individual based.
Yeah,
Eastern religions are community based.
that's a very good point. It's more of
So
a oneness kind of communal thing as opposed to the individual working for as a duty for society, the cosmopolitan. But yes, but there are parallels, you have to admit, in terms of what they consider a virtue and how they implement it in their lives. They take a moment and contemplate something and get in the present and consider the future.
yes,
So, yeah.
definitely.
When you do anything from a clear judgment that it ought to be done, never shun the being seen to do it. And even though the world should make a wrong supposition about it, for if you don't act right, shun the action itself. But if you do, why are you afraid of those who censure you wrongly? Oh, this is a good one.
Do the right fucking thing.
Do the right fucking thing, no matter if it's popular or not. The people that are trying to shut you up, if they're wrong, which usually they are, if you are one following the virtues of courage, justice, and, wisdom and all this, then you're going to be most likely taking the right action, especially if you're following the idea of taking time to contemplate it, think it out, weigh it out.
Exactly. It's just saying, even so, if you can do the right thing, do it. And just do it openly for the world to see. Don't care if they think you're crazy for doing it. If you can't act right, then remove yourself from the situation.
Right.
If you find that there's something that you can't do, then remove yourself from that situation. So if there's needed someone to stand up to someone and you know you're incapable of standing up to that person, remove yourself from the situation and let someone else that can do it.
That's a really good point. Really good point. Because we're not all fit to be in every argument, right? I mean, or die on every hill.
Yes. Are you ready for me to read?
Sure.
As the proposition, either it is day or it is night, is extremely proper for a disjunctive argument, but quite improper for a conjunctive one. So at a feast, to choose the largest share is very suitable for the bodily appetite, but utterly inconsistent with the social spirit of entertainment. When you eat with another, then remember not only the value of those things which are set before you to the body, but the value of that behavior which ought to be observed towards the people who give the entertainment.
Speaking of which, if you read Jen Morgan's comment in the chat, talk about bodily appetite.
I live in a town of 900. I'm trying an experiment where I want everyone in town to orgasm at the same time, creating a vortex portal in the time-space continuum and gaining perpetual energy. I don't think you would get perpetual energy. It might get a little salty.
Hey, you don't know. You don't know. You don't know. It hasn't been tried. Let's try it.
Yes, try it.
Let's experiment.
So as to what this is saying here, so either it is day or it is night. This goes back to earlier philosophies in which they would talk, if something is this, then it can't be its opposite. And so if it's day, it's not night. If it's night, it's not day. If it's hot, it's not cold. If it's cold, it's not hot. If it's hard, it's not soft. If it's soft, it's not hard, blah, 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 blah. And so, but it was saying that's not actually how the real world works. Some things can be lukewarm. Well, is it cool or is it hot?
In other words, giggity.
No, not in other words, giggity. So it's saying don't be a greedy bastard. So if you're at a meal with other people and they set out like a meatloaf or whatever, if you like they said, okay, if you're vegan, if they set out a tofurkey, and you take half of it, the people around you aren't going to like you.
You're right.
You might like it because you're going to be full, but the people around you are going to be like, yeah, you're a greedy bastard.
Yeah. Greedy little bitch. Definitely. And that's a very common thing to see is hoarding, like wealth and all kinds of other things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Want me to read the next paragraph?
No, I'll read the next one. If you have assumed any character above your strength, you have both made an ill figure in that and quitted one which you might have supported. Sargon.
Oh.
That's basically what this is talking about.
Can you explain why it's talking about Zarya?
I can, but I have to cough.
It happens. It happens to the best of us and the.
All right, so Carl McDonaldson Benjamin. I don't know what his middle name is, but Carl Benjamin built up the character of Sargon of Akkad. And Sargon of Akkad is an absolute asshole. And Carl Benjamin tried to pretend that Sargon of Akkad wasn't actually Carl Benjamin, but Carl Benjamin happens to be an asshole as well.
Really?
And so, but yeah, once you build this character up and up and up, and eventually it becomes bigger than you, and you can't contain it anymore. And so he's running for European MP, but by doing this, he's opened himself up to a whole lot of issues, possibly even arrest, which is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, oh, tragic.
No, not tragic. Glorious.
I'm cackling with glee.
Glorious.
That was interesting. Oh my goodness. So, where are we at? 38?
Mhm.
Yes. When walking, you are careful not to step on a nail or turn your foot. So, likewise, be careful not to hurt the ruling faculty of your mind. And if we are to guard against this in every action, we should undertake the action with greater safety. It's very poignant to remember that you do influence your world. So, if you're careful, not to step on a nail, you should be careful with, say, like how you vote or how you engage with people or doing any action.
Just how you think.
How you think, guarding your mind, because it all kind of starts there, doesn't it? When you
Yeah, because if you delve into one conspiracy theory, studies have shown you're opening your mind up to more conspiracy theories. So a person that believes one is more than likely to believe two, and is more than likely to believe three and four and five and six and seven. And I'll stop now. But it opens you up to more and more, and you lose the control of your mind. You become so conspiracy minded. And it can be that way with anything. If you give your mind over to anger, if you give your mind over to lust completely, any of the passions, if you give your mind over to them completely, they're going to control you, and you're not going to be the person that you were before. Question in the chat: what if you listen to conspiracy theories for a cheap laugh? So do so at your own risk, because there's a lot of people who started out doing that, and then they kind of become the conspiracy theorists themselves. And I am totally not talking about anyone. Armored skeptic. But
that's a good example, though. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you get yourself where you, and it's not going to happen to everyone, but there's a lot of people that are out there that are going, I don't believe this conspiracy theory or this conspiracy theory or this one, but 9/11 was definitely an inside job.
Oh, bleh. Okay. That's awful. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is important that you take some kind of responsibility for your mind, for things that you believe, the things that you contemplate how you do it. There's a lot of cognitive pitfalls that we fall into, and this is kind of where this cognitive behavioral therapy ties into this. If you're mindful of and are aware of what these cognitive biases are, at least the common ones, then you can kind of recognize whenever you're falling for them.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important to do. Just anyone, even if you don't think you need therapy or whatever, this will improve your life. Just thinking about how you are being unreasonable, or how you're being too emotional, or just contemplating your own action in yourself. Look in the mirror once in a while.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. The body is to everyone the measure of the possessions proper for it, just as the foot is of the shoe. If, therefore, you stop at this, you will keep the measure. But if you move beyond it, you must necessarily be carried forward, as down a cliff, as in the case of a shoe. If you go beyond its fitness to the foot, it comes first to be gilded and then purple and then studded with jewels. For that which once exceeds a due measure, there is no bound.
Okay, so this is about luxury. There's no limit to luxury. So it says it starts with the shoe. Well, you put a shoe on and it covers your foot, and your foot is protected from the environment. Anything else on top of that shoe is luxury and does nothing for the shoe. So if you gild it, if you paint it, or as we have dyes, pretty colors, whatever, it
Yeah.
doesn't make the shoe any better.
Definitely not.
It just makes it.
Unless you're like in Zelda or something and it's enchanted.
Yeah, and I guess this is kind of capitalism run muck.
Yeah, really is.
There's no limit to the greed of people. So if you put jewels on your shoes, how many jewels are you going to put on it? You can put basically an infinite amount, but then the shoe begins to lose its use after a while. Because if you have a shoe that's covered in jewels, it's going to be a lot heavier and not as useful for a shoe.
Exactly. I'm totally not thinking about Zelda and the Goron mines. Definitely not doing that.
Sure you are. All right, so
sure,
women from 14 years old are flattered with the title of mistresses by men. Therefore, perceiving that they are regarded only as qualified to give men pleasure, they begin to adorn themselves, and in that place ill their hopes. We should, therefore, fix our attention on making them sensible that they are valued for the appearance of decent, modest, and discreet behavior.
Yeah, so you don't have to be like you don't have to like use your body or use your jewelry or use your presence or things that you have in order to attract respect. The best kind of respect is the kind that is gained through your virtues, your courage, your wisdom, your sense of fairness, all these things. So yeah, the modesty is not necessarily, I mean, you could take it like, cover yourself.
It kind of okay, so it kind of is in today's day and age. This is it reads sexist or misogynistic. Like, women are seen as pleasure things, so that's why they adorn themselves and things along those lines. But what it's saying is you don't have to. You can buck the system,
right?
And then other Stoics would open up the school to women. It was one of the only ancient schools that actually opened its doors to women, where they could learn the philosophy and be of an equal stature to the men in the school. So it was kind of interesting in terms of that time. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Down history lane.
Yes.
It is the mark of one of genius to spend such time in things relating to the body as to be long in our exercise and eating and drinking and in the discharge of other animal functions. This should be done incidentally and slightly, and our whole attention be engaged in the care of the understanding. So, in other words, there's got to be like a sense of balance in how we relate to our body and care for our body. Like, if you eat too little, you of course are going to be underweight. But if you eat too much, you're going to be overweight, etc. So,
And if you poop too little,
yeah,
you're going to be backed up. If you poop too
yeah,
much, you're going to have a good day.
discharges
Yes.
and of
It's
other
even talking
animal.
about sex too. It's talking about keeping things in moderation.
Yeah, because I don't know if anyone's noticed or not, but if you have too much sick sex, you're pretty raw. I mean, that's just
Lube.
lube. Even lube, even with lube, if you have too much, you know it. Your muscles are sore. You feel like you're dead. Just saying. Anyway, you want to read now?
Uh, when any person harms you or speaks badly of you, remember that he acts or speaks from a supposition of it being his duty. Now, it is not possible that he should follow what appears right to you, but appears so to himself. Therefore, if he judges from a wrong appearance, he is the person hurt, since he too is the person deceived. For if anyone should suppose a true proposition to be false, the proposition is not hurt, but he who is deceived about it. Setting out then from these principles, you will meekly bear a person who reviles you, for you will say upon every occasion, it seems so to him.
Right. So when we find out that we've been lied to or that we've been taken advantage of, immediately, like we get justifiably enraged, and it is justifiably, you know, a wrathful state. But as the Stoic said earlier, and as Epictetus said earlier, take a moment before you rush into that passion. Make sure that what your action is going to be is a good and virtuous one. Because if you go ahead and you get angry and you act out and all of these things, that's not going to do you very well in the long run. It's better to say to yourself when you've been lied to or you feel like somebody is lying, it seems so to them. Because more than likely, I mean, yeah, you got people that are going to take advantage of you on purpose, but there are people out there that truly believe certain things that are just like, wow. And it seems so to them. So if you take that personally and if you let that interfere with your tranquility, because that's what Stoicism is kind of about, is reaching this tranquil kind of state,
Eudaimonia.
eudaimonia, happiness, to be happy. In order to do that, you have to let go of being bound by those passions.
Well, and the important thing in this passage to think about is when it says, it's not possible, or therefore, if he judges from a wrong appearance, he is the hurt person, since he too is deceived. For if
Yeah.
anyone should suppose a true proposition to be false, the proposition is not hurt. The truth is true. The truth will always be true.
Yep.
It's not so. Even if someone is wrong about you, and you know they're wrong about you, they can get fucked.
Yeah.
Because they're still wrong and you're still right. So if you are doing something that's true or that's right and someone comes against you, it seems that they think that you're wrong, but whatever.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, and this is really hard to do, right? It's really difficult to stop and not allow things being said about you that are untrue to get to you. But I mean, initially it will. That cannot be helped. But what can be helped is how you respond to it in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we have choices, it's not just a single choice and then forever we just follow that. No, every time we're put in this instance, in this situation, with the same variables, we continue to make that decision or choose to change it if it's not working out. So, yeah, it's to me, I think it depending on the situation, it's usually never too late to go
Yeah.
ahead and make the right choice.
Agreed. So you go ahead and read the next one.
Okay. Everything has two handles, the one by which it may be carried and the other by which it cannot. If your brother acts unjustly, don't lay hold upon the action by the handle of his injustice, for by that it cannot be carried, but by the opposite, that he is your brother, and he was brought up with you, and thus you may lay hold on it, as it is to be carried.
Yes. So basically, what this is saying here, um, there's a right and a wrong way to do everything.
Right.
That's basically, you don't, if your brother is acting unjustly, then it doesn't help to go about him through the unjust ways that he's doing it.
Definitely
Um,
not.
you need to go about it in a way that actually is profitable and helpful.
Yeah, be mindful of it instead of just following, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And a lot of people will say, well, such and such is a hypocrite. Well, okay, that might be the case, but what about you? What about me? Am I a hypocrite? How am I a hypocrite? And contemplate that as well.
Exactly.
And if you recognize somebody being one, you can just say to yourself, I will not be this person. Or if they're being like, if they're actually causing harm to other human beings with their hypocrisy, by all means, critique them. But never just follow yourself. Just
Yep.
come to your own conclusions. Okay, these reasonings are unconnected. I am richer than you, therefore I am better. I am more eloquent than you, therefore I am better. The connection is rather this: I am richer than you, therefore my property is greater than yours. I am more eloquent than you, therefore my style is better than yours. But you, after all, are neither property nor style. I love this. I love this section. This really comes to the core about what it is that you're cultivating here. You're not trying to just go to some kind of surface level, oh, surround myself with beautiful things and riches and whatnot. No, it's about who you are.
Yeah.
And you are neither the things that you own nor the way that you present yourself. You're so much more than that. You're a person of virtue, and a person of virtue that can impact the world in so many wonderful ways if you can only recognize what is within your control and what is not.
Exactly. And so this is just, the I am richer than you, therefore my property is greater than yours. That's an important thing to keep in mind, because at the base level, humans are the same.
Right.
We like, someone can be rich or very eloquent,
Mhm.
and they're still going to die in relatively the same amount of time if you deprive them of oxygen.
Yeah, they still poop.
They still shit. Yeah, they still have to eat. They still have to drink. Having more property doesn't make you a better person. It just means you have more things. Um,
What does
having
make you a better person?
uh, what makes you a better person? Well, in my mind, controlling the passions
Mm.
is a way to make yourself a better person. Um, learning how to think about things in a critical way and not
Mm.
just dismiss them because you don't like them.
Mm.
Um, that's a better person.
For
Um,
me, for me, I would say that a better person would be someone who has a good balance of empathy for others and rationality. Just
yeah,
kind of, well balanced person. Uh,
the
that's
more connected you are with the people around you, with the entire species of humans and even the other species on the planet, the more that you care, the better of a person you're going to be.
Right. And it's important.
Yeah.
It really is. Because as I said before, you do influence your world. Even like me, I rarely go anywhere. Right. But I still influence my world in many different ways. I'm a mom. I take care of everybody in the household. I have this podcast. I have friends that I really can connect with on here. And hopefully, the interactions that we've all had together has made the world better in some way. I'm sure in other ways it's been a lost cause, but I'm not willing to give that up. I'm going to fight.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the best I can.
Exactly.
Well,
So,
do,
yeah, I'll read the next one, and then that'll
okay.
be the end one.
Okay.
Does anyone bathe in a mighty little time? Don't say that he does it ill, but in a mighty little time. Does anyone drink a great quantity of wine? Don't say that he does it ill, but that he drinks a great quantity. For unless you perfectly understand the principle from which anyone acts, how should you know if he acts ill? Thus you will not run the hazard of assenting to any appearances, but such as you fully comprehend. So, okay, so to explain the first part, in Roman times, the bath was basically like an all-day thing. You would go to the bath, it would be where you would socialize. You would go through various rooms from hot to cold to hot to cold. You would use oil to lather yourself down. So it's saying this person ran into the bath, took care of it really fast and left. And you're like, well, that's the wrong way to do that. Or does anyone drink a great quantity of wine? Don't say that he does it ill, but that he drinks a great quantity. Um, they might have more of a tolerance than you, so you might not quite be able to drink as much. But basically, it's saying worry about yourself.
Yeah. Mind your own beeswax.
Worry about how you bathe or how you drink or how you go about doing anything. Um, Worry about that, and you won't run into the hazards of making false judgments against other people. You won't.
Right.
Yeah,
It's kind of like there are some sayings that I like of Jesus, not that I don't want to get into the whole did he exist, was he doing? Nope.
well,
But
are we going to misquote scripture?
so what we're going to do is we're going to say that the portion of the Bible that does mention do not worry about the speck in your neighbor's eye, take care of the log in your own, really does resonate with me.
Oh, I was
Because
correct.
it,
Judge not, lest ye be judged, so that with thy own measure thou shalt also be judged. Do not worry about the speck in your brother's eye, but worry about the mote in your own.
yeah.
Um, it's it sounds good, but when you get down to it, he's saying if you're doing a sin, like if you drink a lot, don't complain about other people drinking.
So it's not quite the same.
Yeah, it's not quite the judge not lest ye be judged idea that people put into it. It's
Oh.
actually a don't be a hypocrite.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
learned something today.
A
Yay!
lot of people misquote that portion. And it's like it's one of those things when I like as a minister, it used to drive me crazy when I'd hear someone say that because it's like it's not about judging, it is about not being a hypocrite. Even though it says judge not lest ye be judged, it's saying before that, don't judge people for things that you're already doing.
Gotcha.
So if you enjoy time with prostitutes, don't come out against people who are enjoying time with prostitutes. And it was at the same time Jesus was talking to the Pharisees who were notorious, at least according to the Bible, for acting in a hypocritical way.
Oh, I got a big list of preachers that need to know and have true understanding of what that passage means.
Yeah.
So, Anyway, anything else?
Subscribe to me,
Yes.
just Maddie of Objectively Subjective, because I am the absolute most bestest, greatest, ultimate person on earth.
Yeah, damn it.
I don't mean that. But my channel is growing pretty well. I'm above 500 subs, which is pretty exciting. I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I'm happy about it too. And it's organic growth, so it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
even more fulfilling, I suppose you might
It is,
say.
definitely.
So yeah, subscribe to Objectively Subjective. We are going to have an after party if you'd like to join us. Probably won't be very long. 30.
Probably just a couple people because they get kind of.
Yeah, they do get kind of rowdy.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're interested, just let me know. Send me a DM or say something in the chat and I'll send you a link. But yeah, I'll end this now. Thank you for stopping by.
Penises.
And I know that it was a long trip for you.
For me?
Yeah.
We're still live.
We're still, yes, it's a joke and it's not funny. Oh well.
Epic
Bye,
titties, epic titties. We got the epic titties, yeah. Whoop, whoop, epic titties, yeah. Epic titties, bye bye, yeah.